Hey everyone, welcome to the worldwide premiere of SkyTorch Tactical by Nested Technologies. And we have with us here today Mykal Hamilton from Infinit Drones to tell us all about it. Welcome, Mykal.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure. So as you said, my name is Mykal Hamilton.
I was going to say, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh yeah, I'll be happy to do so. So as you said, my name is Mykal Hamilton, and I'm a solutions engineer with Infinit Drones. At Infinit Drones, our mission is to provide operators with specialized technologies that improve safety, efficiency, and mission success.
Well, awesome. And I know there at Infinit Drones, you work with a lot of different partners, including Nested Technologies, and you're here to tell us about the SkyTorch Tactical. So tell us more about that.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So we work with partners like Nested Technologies to bring unique solutions to market. And today, I'm quite excited to introduce to you the SkyTorch Tactical.
There she is.
Yeah, there she is. So now this is a lighting system, and it's designed specifically for the Avata 2 platform and delivers a combination of power, ruggedness, and efficiency.
All right, awesome. So you designed this thing very specifically for certain stakeholders. Tell us who you designed it for.
Yeah, we designed the SkyTorch Tactical for operators who need strong, reliable illumination without compromising flight performance. So anyone who needs to go into a dark space to find, the designated point of interest, this ensures that they can get there in a safe manner.
Yeah, it's just listening to you, Mykal, it makes me think, law enforcement, defense, critical infrastructure owners, that have to work in tunnels and things like this. So I'm sure the sky is the limit, no pun intended, for the uses here. But let's talk about that brightness you mentioned. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So the LEDs coming out of the front will give you 3,000 lumens forwards, and then you'll also get 1,800 lumens downwards. So that gives you full coverage from both directional lighting and situational awareness beneath the aircraft.
Well, just looking at the drone that you have this on, it's small. And I know for a lot of folks in the FPV, first person view world, anyone working with small drones, right, that size, weight, and power issue is always a big deal because anytime you add something to a small drone, it can affect performance. So how did you account for that?
Yeah, I mean, despite the power, the output, it still only weighs just 93 grams. And ultimately, that means that the impact on the flight time of the drone is very minimal.
Okay, that's excellent. Now, you mentioned kind of tight spaces, interesting environments. Tell me a little bit about the features of the SkyTorch Tactical that allow it to go into these challenging environments.
Well, given that our end users find themselves in these challenging environments with or without a drone, we wanted to enhance their safety by obviously providing them something that's actually useful. So often in these dark environments, they'll encounter smoke, dust, and confined spaces. And the SkyTorch is ruggedly designed with robust build materials that can withstand all of these environmental factors.
Okay, excellent. Now, we mentioned swap, size, weight, and power, but I want to hit the power issue again because you guys designed this in a very unique way. Tell us a little bit about how the SkyTorch Tactical is powered.
The coolest thing, in my opinion, is the fact that it actually is supremely efficient while running directly from the drone's power. So if you look closer, you'll see that it's actually wired right in, and it draws power directly from this drone battery. So when you land, you can just swap your battery like you would normally as a drone pilot, and then you can power on the drone and you're ready to roll.
Oh, wow. That is bright.
It certainly gets the job done. And,
clearly. Now, I know we have a demo video of how this all comes together in a real world mission scenario. So let's go ahead and roll that. All right, very cool. So in that video, we basically saw what you were just talking about, how the SkyTorch Tactical was being flown into a confined space to locate a suspect. What would have been different if the team had only relied on like a standard drone camera?
Well, a standard drone camera doesn't really allow for ideal visibility in low light conditions. So without the SkyTorch on board, the onboard camera would struggle extremely. The beams not only illuminate the space, but they also give clearer contrast for identifying individuals or hazards. This way, it makes all the difference realistically between spotting a suspect or missing them entirely. This keeps the tactical team away from harm additionally, and it helps them identify a threat so that they can allocate resources accordingly.
Okay, that's you can't really overstate that because in a scenario like we just saw, it's all about safety, and this really helps that. Now, I found it interesting that you designed this SkyTorch Tactical very specifically around the Avata 2 for these kinds of missions. Why did you choose that particular platform?
We chose the Avata 2 specifically because it's compact, it's agile, and ultimately well suited for tight indoor or tactical environments. So it only made sense to pair it with the SkyTorch Tactical to create a balanced system with powerful lighting that doesn't compromise agility or endurance. We are also looking at other drone manufacturers who are willing to partner with us so that we could actually just integrate the SkyTorch lighting system on a variety of FPV drones so that we can always, meet the requirements of our various clients who are interested in other manufacturers, for example.
Well, that's awesome, Michael, because I'm sure you've been tracking, the U.S. military and really militaries worldwide. They're going for a modular open systems approach, or MOSA. And the fact that you can kind of plug and play the SkyTorch Tactical into other, drones is really key. So everybody, you heard it here first. They're looking for partners, and we'll get you their contact information. I know it'll be on the screen as well, but definitely reach out to learn more about how you can partner with Nested Technologies on this, and Infinit Drones as well. So, all right, let's go back to the scenario. Once the suspect was located, what role then does lighting play for the team after that point?
So after initial detection, the SkyTorch Tactical provides continuous illumination, because the nice part about this integration is you can kind of just like park the drone where you would like it and just leave it there. And then that would continue to provide not only the FPV pilot with an illuminated view, but also anyone else who might be in the vicinity of the drone so they can see in the dark, which is great. Additionally, this prevents suspects from disappearing into shadows or blind spots.
Okay, well, what happens, because, stranger things have happened, if a suspect tries to disable or the drone or hide?
Well, one nice part about, and another reason we chose to integrate with the Avata for the primary integration, is that there's something called a turtle mode. So if, let's say, the drone gets knocked out of the air and it lands upside down, the operator doesn't have to go and physically retrieve the drone and pick it up and then right it to take off again. They can actually use a feature called turtle mode, and it will activate the motors on the side that's highest, like most elevated, and then flip the drone over, and then the operator can take off and then continue flight and be in the game again. Additionally, let's say, it goes sideways and the suspect is able to actually render the drone no longer operable. This is when SOPs come into play, right? We want you to have redundancy. We want you to have backup, because in real scenarios, things go wrong, right? It's already going wrong because there's an emergency. So our end users need to have the ability to keep operating. So we would personally recommend that an end user would always have a redundancy. So you'd have one unit and you'd have a backup unit that you can send in case you need eyes on target once again.
Okay, and I'm one of those people that was in the military. I appreciate acronyms. SOPs, for those that don't know, but probably most people do if you're watching this, are standard operating procedures. So that's a great point. I mean, having redundancies, having a backup plan. And by the way, what we always used to say in the Air Force is hope is not a plan. So have that second drone with the second SkyTorch Tactical on it, ready to go. All right. So what happens then? Okay, let's talk about some of these other stakeholders you mentioned. Besides law enforcement, which I think was kind of the focus of the demo,
Yes.
who else do you think can really benefit from this?
So the tactical version is actually part of like an ecosystem of SkyTorches that we've put out. So there are a variety of them. There's the standard, there's the pro, and then we have the tactical one. The tactical one is more geared towards law enforcement, military applications, for example. And then we have the other ones that are more geared towards inspection or search and rescue, for example. So if you replace the term suspect with victim, for example, and we transition over to more of a SAR or search and rescue scenario, the same illumination and that located the suspect in the demo would be the same kind of illumination that would save a life in a search and rescue situation.
Yeah, Mykal, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about other stakeholders. Unfortunately, in the U.S., we're almost in the eye of the hurricane, if you will. We've got, I think it's Irma, whatever the name is. It's barreling down on North Carolina. And this is hurricane season in a lot of parts of the world. So disaster response would be another great use case, I would think, because what was it, just a couple of years ago in Florida, we had that there was also just a building collapsed, and they were looking for survivors in the rubble, and you need lighting for something like that.
100%, and that's something that is not always considered, because when a structure collapses, obviously you can see rubble, but then once you're under the rubble, if there's people in the rubble, they're often in a dark space because of the overhanging supports and whatnot that have fallen over top of them, cause shadows. So it's hard to see in those environments. But you send something like this into those environments, into those confined spaces, you can light up the dark, you can look for warm bodies and say, hey, there's a person in the rubble waving their hand, they certainly need some help. And then we can allocate resources. Like, so for example, as a first responder, you can allocate human resources to either enter that confined space or that compromised structure and save the life of that person. Or you can say, hey, we already checked all of this. There's no one there. We don't need to risk the lives of our members here. We have this fire to put out over here.
Okay, awesome. So clearly the illumination from the SkyTorch Tactical is really key. But let me ask you this, Mykal, how does it impact flight time?
That's a great question. As I stated earlier, 93 grams weight. Ultimately, even though it's wired right in, it only cuts down the flight time by 1 minute. So, you have life-saving lighting solution with only losing a minute of flight time. The cost-benefit analysis obviously makes a lot of sense. Great solution. We also offer, if in the event that a client is not interested in having it directly integrated into the battery of the drone, for example, we do offer an external battery that can be mounted and swapped out according to client's needs.
Okay, so we're kind of back to the power question a little bit. And so it sounds like you can tap into the power directly of the battery, right, for the Avata 2. But you can also add a different battery as an additional source.
Yeah, we can add an additional battery as an external power source if the operator, finds it necessary. Otherwise, it will just be integrated directly into the platform, and you only have to worry about swapping one battery.
Okay, awesome. Now, most people may not realize, you kind of alluded to it earlier, but they may have missed it. And the fact we're talking about SkyTorch Tactical makes it pretty clear that there was a SkyTorch that existed before the tactical version. So what makes this model different?
Well, the tactical version was engineered for rugged, confined, and tactical missions. So it has a reinforced body. It's topside mounted to the aircraft, and its compatibility with accessories and make it more suitable for high-risk environments. We can get into more detail about additional accessories, but when you combine this unit with the additional accessories we offer, it really makes a robust platform for any kind of clearing operations, for example.
Okay, awesome. Well, if you'd like to go there, I'm willing to hear what other accessories you're talking about there, because I think we're going to have a big public safety and disaster response and DoD audience listening to us.
Well, Beyond the demo you just saw, the tactical version of SkyTorch has a broad range of secondary applications. So we've had clients in construction, energy, and transportation use it for nighttime site monitoring and infrastructure assessment. Some of the accessories, I don't want to get into too much detail right now, but they would allow you to ensure the safety of your aircraft in the event of impact with a wall or structure, for example, while also giving you capability to manipulate things in space. For example, closing a door, opening a door if it's already unlatched, that kind of thing, using the drone only. So we'll release more information about this soon. We don't have
I love that. I mean, you guys have created an entire ecosystem, basically, a whole, let's call it the SkyTorch family of products. And this SkyTorch Tactical is just the latest. So where can people find this? Where can they obtain it? Because now I'm sure people are listening and thinking, I've got to get me one of those.
Well, ultimately, it's available through us, Infinit Drones. If you'd like to learn more, you can request a quote through our website, or you can call us. If you'd like to see a demo, you can come visit us at our office. You can reach out to info@infinitdrones.com. We'd be happy to integrate the SkyTorch Tactical into your operations.
Okay, so very good. So Infinit Drones is basically the reseller, and Nested Technologies is the developer, if you will. And right now, this product is exclusively being sold through Infinit Drones. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so find these guys, and where are you based exactly?
We're based in Woodbridge, so just north of Toronto, and 610 Hanlon. That's our address in Woodbridge. You're welcome to come stop by. We can give you a demonstration, and feel free to also call our office line. You'll get in touch with myself or one of our fantastic team members, and we'll give you all the information you need.
Awesome. Well, we do have a global audience, Mykal, and I'm assuming people outside of Canada, like in the US and, in Europe and beyond, are going to be looking to get some SkyTorch Tacticals units. Will you be able to send those then as well?
Yeah, most definitely. We support clients internationally currently, as well as across Canada and the United States, of course. And we're willing to send them wherever they need to go to be put into positive use.
All right. Awesome. So I think we've covered everything unless we missed anything, Mykal.
I believe we've covered all the most important things. So I'm good if you are.
All right. Well, very good. Let's make sure everybody knows once again how they can reach you and learn more about the SkyTorch Tactical. Tell them what you're looking for and how they can find you.
All righty. Well, we're not looking for much other than who you are, what your use case will be, what your end game looks like. Do you want a fleet? Do you want one unit? What's your budget? And then you can give us this kind of information. We'll tailor a solution to your particular use case. You can reach out to me directly via email if you'd like. It's mykal@infinitdrones.com. That's pronounced Michael, but it's funny spelling, And we'd be happy to help anyone who reaches out. You can also reach me via WhatsApp. Just send me an email and say that that's your preferred method of contact, and then I'll give you the WhatsApp contacts if you're overseas, for example.
Okay, excellent. And besides people looking to buy one, companies, original equipment, manufacturers, OEMs that are looking to integrate this kind of amazing technology into their drones, same deal, reach out to Mykal. So that's great. Thank you so much for sharing with us this new product that you guys are exclusively releasing through Infinit Drones. And we're really excited to keep watching and seeing what else you guys have on the horizon. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you for having me, Dawn.
Out here.